getting this party started. So welcome everybody. Tariq here with Event Hawk, joining you guys to talk all about off-season. Man, I love this topic. This is a topic that is near and dear to my heart, man. Off-season is scary when you're starting out, and then as you get older, you look forward to it as you kind of grow into business. So loving, this is going to be a little bit different than most of our webinars. It's going to be more of a discussion. I have with me the one and only wonderful Stacie Chase, who has been in the industry much longer than me. And she's going to kind of be sharing a little bit about her experience. And what I love about Stacie is she's kind of in a colder climate like me. So she can kind of tell you guys what'll work even in colder climates. So if you take what Stacie's going to share with us today, you can apply it really anywhere in the country. So I'm super excited to be talking about that. But before we do anything else, I know some of you guys are here for the giveaway. Yeah, some of you guys are like, what giveaway? Big shout out to Big and Bright. I don't know if he's here today. Let me know. Raise your hand if you're here, Matt. But Big and Bright partnered with Event Hawk a while ago to do a giveaway, and we're doing the drawing today. So share my screen here. Sorry, too late to enter, but I don't know if you Event Hawk members remember we did this. We did a little promo where you got all this stuff. Well, one of those things was the water slide giveaway here. This water slide from Big and Bright. Huge thank you to Big and Bright for partnering with us to give away this water slide. So we're going to go ahead and do that drawing now. And for those of you guys who are getting this stuff, we pretty much delivered most of this stuff to you guys. Still working on a few other things, but most of this has already been delivered to you. And today it is water slide giveaway time. So without further ado, usually I like to make you guys wait till the end of the webinar. Stacie, can you see my screen?
I can.
Perfect. All right. Stacie, I promise I'm going to give you the floor. I won't talk too much.
No, it's okay. I'm just, watching this happen and
Yeah.
thinking everybody's going to leave as soon as you're done.
I know, that's why I want to leave it till the end, but you definitely want to stick around. Stacie's going to be, we're going to be talking about some really awesome stuff you can do this off season. If you see your name here, go ahead and give a shout out in the comments. We're going to go ahead and do the drawing. Again, huge shout out to Big and Bright for doing the giveaway. So we're going to go ahead and do this drawing, kick things off. I get a lot of hate mail when I leave this till the end. People are like, I want to go to sleep. It's late where I'm at. So I decided to kind of go easy this time. So without further ado, here we go. So once I click this, this wheel here, it's going to go ahead and spin, and it's going to go ahead and pick a winner. And whoever wins the water slide. And real quick, I want to see what is the value of this water slide here, just so we know. Big and Bright. All right, let's take a look here. Water slides. This one, $38.90. Holy moly, I did not realize it was that much. Wow, that is almost $4,000. All right, now I want to win. All right, well, let's see who's winning this $3,895 Blue Paradise XL. I assume it's the same one. Don't quote me. This is the picture that Big and Bright gave me. So if it's a different slide, or if it's something similar, whatever it is, if it's a 12-foot instead of a 20-foot, don't quote me, man, be mad at me, but this is you get what you get. So I don't have the details of which slide it is.
It's free. Don't complain.
It's free, right? Yeah, there you go. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and do the drawing here. And now I'm really tense. So here we go. 3, 2, 1. Boom. You guys hear that spin? Winner, winner, winner. Oh, congratulations, Nicole Robinson. Man, it almost hit Nick Yovac. And I was like, wow, I was just talking to him yesterday. Huge congratulations. Nicole, are you on here? Let's see if Nicole's on there. I don't think Nicole's here. Well, Nicole, if you're here, then we will then we'd love to hear from you. Not everybody's name is on there, guys. This is a giveaway. If you entered, then you know you entered. We texted everybody who did enter yesterday, and your name is on here. So this is not this was not kind of open to everybody. There was certain we had a prerequisite to enter. So I know we shot this a while ago, and you got that. So with that said, now that everybody's heartbroken, Stacie, let's do a quick introduction. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Stacie. Where are you from? What do you do? And why should we listen to you?
I'm from Oswego, Illinois currently. I would normally say I'm from my mom and my dad, but not everybody likes clown jokes. And I currently reside in Oswego, Illinois. My business is in Naperville, Illinois. I can wave over at Tariq. He's a little further up from me. And I've been in the business of doing parties since I was 12 years old. Rentals didn't come along until I was 20-ish years old, somewhere along those lines. And I am gonna tell you it's been over 30 years in the rental industry. So I won't get too specific unless you know my age. And I don't know that that's any necessarily real reason to listen to me, but I do have a lot of stories and experience under my belt, and have tried many of the things and have failed many of the things and have succeeded many of the things. So just here to give you my 2 cents and let you know some of the creative things that we have found to do, and then listen to my own advice after I give this talk and do some of them, because I'm a little behind on my winter.
So Stacy, how many, so give us an idea of the size that you're at. How many units do you have? What are the different things that you do, and how big is your company?
I have a little over 150 inflatables. So
Back
I
hurts.
lost my screen. I don't know where you went. There we are. I
Yeah,
have a
yeah.
little over 150 inflatables, but in that I count inflatable games and stuff. So like things like a floating gallery or like the tube hockey game, I count those in my inflatables. So there's a lot of pieces of vinyl. A lot. They're all blue.
They're
Drives
all,
me crazy. Drives me crazy. Which one are you looking for? The blue one. Yeah. That's the answer all the time. They're all blue. Oh, it's green. We can find it. Doesn't matter if you label them. The labels rub off. We've tried everything.
yeah, I
Sooner
got.
or later, it gets wrapped wrong. It gets labeled wrong. The bane of the existence of having way too many things to keep track of. But I don't just do bounces. So that's kind of the thing that, we do a lot of other things too. So.
What are some of the other things that you do?
Our rentals consist of tents, tables, chairs, concessions, games, lawn signs. We also do decor and entertainment. So we pretty much are a one-hit wonder. You're a one-stop shop, I guess, not one-hit wonder. So when I'll give a prime example. I can give you 2 examples in the last 2 days. Today I called a guy about a Santa. I have a separate website called Santa Stops By. We have a whole thing about Santas. Is Justin on here tonight? Does he still talk to us?
Who?
Justin.
Oh, Justin. He was on the last webinar. I don't know if he's here today.
Well, anyway, he and I got into a whole story about that last year. I wanted to see what happened with his thing. Anyway, so in that, that cross promotes all our rentals for backdrops and Santa chairs and stuff like that. But so I'm talking to the guy about his Santa, and he has a real specific need for a Santa, a bilingual Santa. We have 2. So we're talking, and as you listen to your clients, you hear what their other needs are. He's telling me about how their event went last year and what they did last year. He's like, oh yeah, and the photographer, we couldn't get we had a hard time getting our photos. They were delayed, and this, that, and the other thing. I'm like, so you're not doing instant on-site printing? Because that's a photo station that we do. I could certainly include that in your quote. Yeah. Oh yeah, that'd be fantastic. So now I've got a backdrop, a chair, a Santa, and a photo booth in one shot.
And it all
And then as we
started from.
continued to talk, he was like, oh, and I said, you can give them, sorry, I didn't mean to keep talking, but so then I said, if you're doing photos, you can give them a craft and they can make their own craft of a frame while they're waiting to see Santa. Oh, you're giving me ideas. Yeah, we do always order stuff from them. Oh, do you order from Oriental Trading? Because I can get you 20% off. And that's how that conversation went. So he started with this much and now he's at this much.
It's so just something here that I want to touch on. It's so crazy. Every time I talk to really a big fish like yourself, I consider myself small compared to some of you guys, but I always hear that word conversation. And I think that it's really, really important to touch on, because so many of us starting out, we think I want online bookings. I want people to just book online, book online, book online. But then every really, really big company that I talk to, the way that they grow really, really fast and build packages and grow their orders is by talking to customers. Have you found that the same? I mean, it sounds like this person started just saying, I want a Santa. And then you actually verbally talk to them over the phone, right? They didn't just book online. You didn't just send them to a page that says, here's our packages. You actually took the time to talk to them, or your, support person did. And then,
well, I reached out to him with the basic information, and I said I would call him to follow up. So the key to Santa bookings for us, and it's true with any booking, with the key for us during the holidays, you have to move fast. There's 30 Santas for every one of the salespeople. So, we have a staff, I have a staff I'm responsible for, just like bounce guys that are Santas. I mean, the month of December, their income rests on me. So I have to be selling them. I have to ABSS, always be selling Santa. But Santa's, it's easier because the way most of those leads come in, and if anybody is on these services, they'll understand Gig Salad, Gig Masters, any of those things where Bark, any of these things that send you leads. All these lead services send you the Santa things. And if you don't pick up the phone, you're one of 30 people. But if you pick up the phone, they ignore the other 29. So the same can be said about bounces. If you're getting a lead in, and it's coming from a service, if you pick up the phone and explain to them who you are, they're going to ignore the rest of the noise, even if they're cheaper.
So I think we jumped right into Santa. So are you saying that Santa is pretty much a big chunk of your off season? Because this, we're talking about off season.
Well, I was going to steer away from actually recommending everybody going out and buying a red suit, because Santa's a very special thing to do. Now, if you have the yin and the young at heartedness to be able to be a Santa, I will tell you where to buy a costume. I will help you get it wholesale. I will instruct you on the ways of Santa. But if you ever wear fake boots, I will never speak to you again. Because the number one most important thing is that you don't wear fake boots. Not the most important, but I hate it. And it's a big pet peeve. But I costume all my Santas. I control their wigs, their costuming, their dress. I have a certain look that I put out there. So it is a great November to December filler. If you are someone that is of that entertainment nature. I mean, we're all friendly people usually in the business, but if you've got the build for it or padding that can be added, and you have the want to learn more about that, I'm happy to have that conversation that's not here on this tonight. What I am going to bring up is some of the most popular rental items that I have that work with Santas. And how you can use that all year round. It doesn't have to only be used for entertainers.
Stacy, is it, so this time of year, it's September going into October. Is it possible that I could find some Santas out there and work with them to basically get them, if I don't want to be Santa or whatever, I want to focus on something else. Is that sounds like, I mean, these Santas, do they work for you? Are they on staff, or are you contracting them? And is that possible? Do you recommend that?
Well, I have Santas on staff that only work for me. I also contract out to other Santas as well. So, I mean, I have a huge group of Santas. I just had 30 Santas at my place 2 weekends ago. So I have a huge group of Santas. But what I would recommend for somebody who is in the rental industry, if they were going to try and come up with a way to supplement for holiday specific parties. Okay. First off, every Santa is going to either a home party or a company party. There are a lot of company parties. Now, just like that conversation unfolded, this wasn't the first thing I was going to talk about, but I just skipped ahead. So these company parties, they look for something for the kids to do. So they look for face painters, balloon artists, elves, Santa, craft stations, and they look for a place for them to take pictures. Pipe and drape is very inexpensive to add to your rental inventory. You can add a basic 8x10 backdrop for sub $150. Okay, so you can take a pipe and drape with a red, a green, and a yellow or white curtain, and you now have a photography backdrop. You don't have to have a photo booth. You have a backdrop. And you can go on to AOSOM or Walmart and buy a red high back chair for $235. It is not the best Santa chair, but it is a Santa chair that people can pick up and they can pick up your backdrop. So for less than a, say, $300 to $400 investment, you now have a backdrop and a chair that I rent regularly for $185 pickup or plus delivery.
Wow. And you don't.
And you can do this by marketing to Santas. So I have all these Santas at my building the other day, and I'm like, hey guys, do you know we have this, this, and this? And I instantly had 3 people. I was like, look, you are going, 3 people right away sent me referrals. I'm like, you are going to a party. They need a chair and a backdrop. How many Santas sit in a folding chair with a piece of red carpet thrown over it to make it look like a Santa chair? You can subrent this from me and you can pick it up and take it yourself, and you have it all day. Take it to every gig. I don't care. So you can market that to Santas. It's something that they can provide for their clients that they can then upsell to their clients. Excuse me.
Just blew
I
my
worked all day today. So I just slammed a soda when I sat down. So that is what I'm not trying to come up with suggestions that make you guys spend money, but at that same time, that pipe and drape system will work for you for prom. It will work for you for homecoming. It will work for you for parties. All you have to do is add different color curtains. And those curtains are about $20 each. And you have a good assortment of curtains, especially get the school colors, black, white, gold. You now have a backdrop for anybody who needs a backdrop. It's a super easy upsell. So, and I just don't even mess with the $35 Amazon sedans. That's just not even worth it. You just go straight to pipe and drape. And you can add on, you can go longer, you can do more, but that is anybody, how many parties you go to, they got a photo booth. I mean, now you have an Insta backdrop. You learn how to do balloons. Hand to the face.
my camera's a little, but
It's a little blurry. You are blurry.
I know. Yeah, you really blew my mind there with that. So, man, that's a really small investment for now. Is this
And
stuff?
it's super easy to let people pick it up if they have a minivan or a decent size SUV. I rent that chair. I have 3 red chairs and they come in other colors. I have hot pink, blue, and 3 red ones. But the reason why I have 3 is because they move constantly throughout the winter. And it's not the high-end throne chair. And I have like 10 or 11 throne chairs. I kind of lost track. I have a ton of throne chairs. They're also a huge hit, but they're expensive. You're going to drop $1,100, $1,200 on a throne chair, 8 if you've got a good dealer. But throne chairs are hard to maintain and they're a big pain in the butt. Is that a question?
What was it? What was that website again? Somebody's asking. Where can
you know what? You can find them on Walmart. And also, if you do Retail Me Not, which is a plugin, they'll give you like 5% back. But it's here. I gotta search it. Hang on 1 second, so I'm spelling it right, because I just goes direct to the store source. AOSOM.
AOSOM.com.
Yeah, and they have coupons. Get your coupon. Like right now it's 11%, and Retail Me Not gives you 1% back. But they have just search for like high back chair. I think it is.
Okay. High back chair.
No, they're popular, but they have them at Walmart too, through the same company. It's the only company that makes them that I found. So that's why when I got the first box that I ever bought, I just went straight to the company website. I usually order it from them. See, I think if you search red chair, maybe, but they make them in a lot of colors. They are like a great there. Okay, so it's right now it's $197.99. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna order another one because I usually pay $235.
I see it. Is it this one here?
I'm not looking at your screen, I'm looking at mine, but on mine is the 3rd one across. Yep, that's it.
Screen, this right there.
I rent that chair for $85. That's 2.5 rentals and it's paid off. $85 all day long.
And no blower, no stakes, no tarp, no setup. They just pick it up and go.
get a mover's blanket and a bungee cord. You put the mover's blanket over your bungee cord around the back to keep people from destroying it in their car. And look, they even have the green one on sale. I am so excited. Green's an even better color for Christmas because Santa suits are red.
Okay, but hold on. But this is something that I can only rent out. Like when you say, is it only in the month of December? Is it only for like a 2 week?
No, it's a chair. People love to sit in chairs and take pictures. No, you can market that to a casino party. It's not going to really do a baby shower. Like if you want to pick up one for a baby shower, you need to get like an off-white, cream, light blue, light pink one. But this is your alternative to a throne chair. It is fancy enough for people to afford. I rent my throne chair for $185 plus delivery. I won't let people pick up a throne chair. Okay. So nobody gets out of a throne chair for under $250 ish, 270.
And this is smaller than a throne chair, right?
It's smaller, it sits lower, but for anybody doing a photo backdrop, it's fine. They don't care.
Okay.
You have to spin it a bit. You know, I've got a fancy chair, but it's not a throne chair. But you can also rent it for half the price, which I have somebody renting 2 of them for a birthday. I mean, people just rent them for the birthdays. I mean, so it's a great, really functional chair. I've had mine. I refresh things from time to time, but I mean, I've been carrying these for 5 or 6 years and I rent them consistently. But if you spin it into,
for anybody who's
but the thing about it is to spin it into not just the chair. You want to sell as a chair with the backdrop. And here's your other nugget. After you get your pipe and drape, you go to Kate backdrop. I'll type it in here. I only use Kate backdrops.
Yeah, type it in.
And I only use cloth, microfiber, cloth microfiber backdrops. And you can then, I love the train with Santa. I don't know who that was.
That's Ali. What's up, Ali? Oh man.
Okay, Ali, we gotta talk about your beard.
Right. Kate backdrop. Is that a company or is that a material?
That is who I buy my backdrops from. Exclusively. I won't buy any other backdrop because I love these backdrops so much.
I see Kate backdrops on Amazon.
You can do them on Amazon. I go direct to the company because they give you coupons and cash back and have flash sales. They'll have a Christmas sale coming up where they will go online and these 3 Asian women run around and set up backdrops like for 2 hours and show you them. And it's the funnest thing to watch because they're like so efficient, but they're so short. And they're like, but they do a great job. See, coupons, but then you also get points and buy things, and their backdrops, you got to get the right size. You got to watch because they do have that crazy sizing in parameters and stuff like that. But keep going because you're going to see a room probably in a second. This is one of the most awesome sets. Anyway, they do rooms where it's 2 sides and a floor that they do, and you literally just built a house for somebody to have their pictures in.
Yeah, well, now you got to tell us which one it is. If it's this one, like that.
Like that. That one's the haunted one, I think. Oh no, is that Christmas? Okay, I saw that for Harry Potter too. But they have several of these. So you get a floor piece, and you get 2 sets of pipe and drape, and you get your window, and then you put your chair in there. And that is $585, folks. And it takes you about 12 minutes to install.
Okay, hold on. One thing at a time. What am I looking at here? Is this, do I get the floor?
3 pieces.
Okay, what's on the floor? What is this?
It's a piece of fabric.
That they stand on? No, it's not gonna be.
Yeah, just a little carpet tape on the corners. It's fine.
Okay. And then this does not come with the pipe and drape. It's just
no, you need to buy 2 sets of pipe and drape for that. Or so 3 uprights and 2 crossbars.
So it pretty much pays for itself with the pipe and drape in one rental.
Yeah.
Wow.
You set that up and you invite photographers over. Gold.
What I love about this stuff is it takes a lot less space than an inflatable, and it makes just as
much.
Much.
Yeah, that that fits. the backdrop itself fits in a little container.
Awesome. Very cool, man. I'm learning. So are you guys, let's pause there. Are you guys learning a lot? Are you guys loving this? Let me know in the comments if we're meeting your expectations, if we're heading in the right direction with this webinar. If you want
I have
Stacy.
about 18 other things that I put on my list. This just happened to segue right away.
All right, let's see where everybody's at. Let me know in the comments. Let me know in the chat how you guys are feeling. I see Gary Yelly says absolutely. Leave in P says yes, this is the best idea ever. Shane says, are you going to do the drawing tonight? You just missed it, buddy. Sorry, someone else won, Shane. Melissa says this is so cool. Shannon Hill is speechless. There you go. That's all I needed to hear. Well, thank you guys. Awesome. Glad that you guys are loving it.
Is anybody on here if anybody can chime in and tell me is anybody doing like balloons with bounce houses, lawn signs? Is anybody else diversified? Because I have other things to suggest kind of based on what the audience is here.
So leave in Giuseppe says me. I think that's who that is. Sorry if I pronounced your name. One thing I'd like to maybe do as well. I don't want to nerd out too much. Caesar says my wife does balloons, but I would love to actually look at the data and see kind of in the country what is searched, how many Santas or how many thrones, etc. On day. I never see people actually look at numbers.
Throne chairs are huge.
If you'll allow me, I'll just do a quick example since you mentioned throne chairs. I promise I always have to give the disclosure. I'm trying not to nerd out.
No, people are rolling through with what they've got, so I'm watching the comments. So
this is what I love to do. This is how I decide what to get into. Throne chairs. I go to Google Keyword Planner. I did a whole video on this. But I can, if you're interested in a one-on-one session so that we could look at your area, I'm gonna look at the whole United States. You're gonna have to text us. I'll put our numbers somewhere. I'll share. Stick around. I'll share how you can get a hold of us, and we can do a free strategy session where we can look at your area and see what's renting, what's not. But throne chair rentals, for example, and if we hit get results, we'll see like across the United States. Man, it's pretty. Actually dips in December. It picks up in January. You see how this data is so important? Like you get to really see what's renting and what's not. So throne chairs is actually.
Well, it's because everybody's renting for December now.
Now, okay, makes sense. Yeah, nobody's gonna rent.
Okay, and then in January, everybody's having indoor parties.
Boom, smart.
We just got through the holidays and now we're planning parties. So now we're back up.
And this is actual data from Google. Like me and Stacy will tell you what we think, but this is actual numbers, how many searches there are. So for example, in the month of March, 40,000 searches that month in the United States. Now, like I said, if you want to look at your specific area, that would be smart. We can do that. Stick around till the end. I'll tell you how we can get on a one-on-one call and look at that. But let's look at Santa. What do people typically type in? Santa visit?
Santa.
Well, Santa could be a lot of different
Santa rental, Santa performer, Santa entertainer.
Santa entertainer, Santa visit. And Google will tell me what the volume is of each keyword here. So average monthly searches. Tim Allen, the Santa Claus.
Look at that, 165,000.
A lot of random stuff. Let's look at Santa visit and Santa entertainer, Santa performer. Okay, so like Santa visit. So yeah, it picks up, it does peak in December, people last minute.
Look at that. And I'm already got so much inquiries going on.
Yeah, it starts in October. So really, if you're thinking about doing,
I mean, today alone, I had 7 people at least, and I talked to at least 4. I'm still back and forthing with a couple of them whose voicemail are full.
Wow. And it's barely, so you must go really crazy in October, November, December.
December is my second highest month of the year.
Get
Followed by January.
So theoretically, you make enough in December, you don't have to worry about off-season, January, February, March. It'd be good till April. Love it, love it, love it. All right, I'll pause here. We could kind of circle back and look at some of the numbers later on, but let's go through the comments. We got a bunch of people here. I'll put the
I kind of went through.
Yeah, real quick, if you want a one-on-one call to look at this stuff, I'll share that here. Let me just share that, and then we'll move on.
Kane, it says inflatables are a small part of your business. What else is the other part?
Were you asking somebody in the chat?
Kane.
Oh, Kane. Okay.
Just trying to get a.
All right, so book a.
Okay, so I own the sets. I also own photo booths and photo stations. And here's the thing. Now, what used to be considered a photo booth was actually a booth you got in and you got the little strips out. But everybody calls a backdrop with balloons a photo booth now. It's not, in my world, it's a photo area, a photo station. Everybody's got their own camera. They don't necessarily care about a photo anymore, but they do at Christmas. They do at Christmas with Santa. So what we have is our photo booth equipment. We use a program called Spark Booth. We just use it. I'm going to put that in the comments. We just bought a license. We use it on our computer. We use it for our photo booth as well. But with Santa's, what we do is we set up a laptop and a webcam, a good webcam, on a tripod. And we set up the backdrop, the chair. We own this, it's usually one of our Santas, and we have literally a 2x4 table with a laptop and a camera and a photo printer. Now that's what's going to cost money. The photo printer. You need a fast printer that will crank those things out in under a minute. You want one that'll take up to 5x7 media. It's going to be around $600 to $1,000. So it's not cheap, but once you have it, you can print all your own photos at home anytime you want. So that's your big thing, is the actual photo printer. Everybody's got a laptop. The webcam is probably about $100. The software, I think, is $79 or $97. You set it up to take a 4x6 photo, whoosh, shoots it right out. Oh, you want a 5x7? That'll be $150 more. And you swap out the film and you sell 5x7s. We charge $525 for the first 2 hours and $150 an hour after that. It includes a pipe and drape backdrop, not a printed backdrop. Oh, you want a printed backdrop? That's an extra $65. You'd like a chair? Sure, we got you. All of that ties right into our Santa. But the thing is, you can find local Santas by just going on Gig Salad and asking for a Santa, and then you'll get all these people. They'll answer you who they are. And then if you're polite about it and you're not a jerk, you can be like, I was just reaching out because I wanted to offer some of the things that might help you in your Santa business. We have chairs and backdrops. In case you have a client that might be interested, anybody you refer to us will give you $25. No referrals, no worries. Just find out who's having a Christmas party. Everybody uses it.
And what did you call it? It's not a photo booth, it's a photo what?
It's a photo, it's not a photo booth because you're not getting in it and you're not getting strip photos. So I just called it a photo station, Santa's Magic Photo Station. The photos come out like magic. Boom.
Love it.
Everybody has a pain point for photos. Everybody's like, oh, people take them with their camera. Yeah, if it's a party of 20 to 30 people, the backdrop's nice. The chair's maybe gonna go. They always want Santa, but they'll use their own cameras, 20, 30 people. Company party. So this is what I suggest. And this was part of my, if I started at the top of my list, you would have been growing pumpkins by now. I'll explain that in a second. Look at who you did company picnics for. Look at who you did any kind of schoolwork for, and tell them about your new product if you're going to invest in something like this. They are your pumpkins. They are the ones that you will grow with this. And so whenever you have a client that you can grow, they're a pumpkin. You want nice, big, fat pumpkins. Everybody does. So my suggestion is you don't sell this to your backyard birthday parties. You know, anybody's doing a home Santa visit's not going to do that. But you can tell them that, hey, are you having an indoor birthday party in January? We got a fantastic go to Cape backdrop and buy a backdrop that has to do with birthday parties. Photo backdrop for your birthday party. Pick it up. It's this much money. Have us deliver it. It's this much money. My 8x8 pipe and drape, I rent for $100 pickup. Deliver it is plus delivery. It is a curtain, 2 uprights, 2 base plates, and a crossbar. That's it. $100.
So all this sounds great, but a lot of us here, or a lot of people here, they haven't done a lot of picnics and schools, and they're new, it's their first or second year. Somebody said, I think Shannon, it's my first off season. So how would you, I mean, is it enough to just get this stuff and throw it on your website? Or are you going to start getting calls, or do you have to market it a certain way? How do you market and sell this stuff?
So let me go back to my list. All right, I wanted to start off with, don't buy anything. What do you do if you have bounces? That was how I was going to start this conversation. So to answer you about adding it to your website, yep, it'll sell all year round. You just have to have multiple backdrops, pipe and drape. If you have curtains, you can change it out for homecoming or prom. Curtains are just, I'm going to put where I get my stuff, EEI online. Tariq, these guys are local in Bolingbrook. You can pick up from them. That's where I get my pipe and drape. I get my curtains from Georgia Expo. Georgia's got pipe and drape too. It's all the same. Pipe and drape is all the same. It just, whoever stuck their sticker on it. The spandex curtains are the best, followed by banjo cloth because it doesn't wrinkle. These two don't wrinkle. Anything that's just like a regular fabric, it wrinkles. So that's also why I go to Cape Backdrop, because they make fabric backdrops. Okay, so that's your lesson learned about pipe and drape and backdrops. And if you want more information on it, and how you can take that to like other things, like business things, you can always message me. I'm happy to give you more info. Yes.
Great, but how do you market it? How do you, if all I've been doing is running Google ads and marketing for my bounce houses, adding this to my site obviously isn't going to make, I'm not going to get people to start running. So how?
Well, you have to email your people and tell them you bought it.
Okay,
and you have to reach out to people having events.
So email, so use your email. So if you've been using EventHawk, if you're using a booking software, you should have a ton of emails throughout the year, even the ones that didn't book with you, right? So are you, Stacy, do you send them out an email, per month? Like,
do you have a holiday party coming up? Do you need a backdrop for Santa?
Okay.
So, X amount of dollars for this package. If you book in November, for your part, and you're gonna have to turn down work. Don't try and flip these.
There's your email. You just give me the whole email script. Boom.
And if you want to make it value added, here are some of the Santas that we suggest that you consider working with. If you're not already a Santa, find somebody in your area that if he'll maybe email his list, because Santas have email lists too, and say, hey guys, here's a great addition to my lineup this year. I'm offering backdrops by Bounce by Backdrops, or backdrops by Bounce by whoever, and they have this great holiday backdrop and chair that you can add to your rental. If you want to pick it, just tell them, if you want to pick it up, it's this much. If you want to deliver it, it's this much. If you're working out of your home, you might not want to do pickup. I get that.
So if I'm to play devil's advocate, if I'm a Santa here, why would I work with you rather than buy my own stuff? Why would I pay you when I could just get my own stuff and rent it out?
Santas don't got time to hang around and haul that chair where they got to go. They don't want to say, you see, who wants to see Santa setting up a backdrop? I mean, that just doesn't make any sense. Oh, Santa's here. Hang on, kids. I got to go set up my backdrop. No, that doesn't, you got to be out of costume to go do that. It's theoretically possible, but I mean, I've had my Santas pick up a chair and I have the people come out and get it and take it in so they don't see Santa carrying a chair. But you want to get to know your other performers. These people are all having parties and they're in the party business. So are you. It's just a different kind of party. Holiday parties. I had multiple holiday parties, rent my snow globe, my penguin game, my Christmas themed bounce house, right inside of a banquet room with 4 sandbags in a corner to keep those kids busy. There is no rule about not being able to use your bounces in the winter, because you can. Anybody who's got a ceiling tall enough can take a bounce. So
let's talk about that. So what's your strategy for getting indoor rentals for inflatables?
Aha, I have to look at my script. If you only have bounces, these are the things that you should, these are the places that you should network with. I mean, there is nothing wrong with getting a list, but you really want to get to know a person that's over there. So Schools, obviously, that's just a no-brainer. Everybody wants to do off-season schools and events. Okay, that's a bigger ball of wax, but schools. Anybody who has a gym, if there's a basketball court, you can put a bounce in there. If there's a basketball court, they have parties, most likely. So anything from my gym to a gymnastics place to an actual, like, Edward Healthcare has a gym, LA Fitness has a gym, figure out who's got tall ceilings, because people can have a bounce there, and they generally have private parties for people, not so much basketball courts, but there are places, people rent places like my gym and gymnastic studios for parties. So if you can bring a bounce to them, soccer fields generally have high ceilings, any indoor sports complexes, a little local, all the bounce house places closed down during COVID around here. So one of the places that's nearby me is a field house. They just bought their own. And every other Sunday, they have bounce house parties on the soccer field. So is there a place that you know nearby that has maybe a soccer field that's not being used on a certain day? I mean, soccer's pretty big, so they're usually used on the weekends. That's why these people carve out a very specific window every other Sunday. But maybe they do Tuesday night open play and invite the kids in for playing in a bounce house, and you guys can do a cut of the door or something. Think outside of the box as to where can you put your bounce? Not necessarily who will hire my bounce, where will my bounce house fit? Where can this bounce house fit in the middle of winter if it's snowing there? I'm not talking to you Florida people, you can do it all year long. If you're in a cold climate, ask yourself, where does it fit? And if it fits there, and they might rent out privately, I have a bank that has a basketball court near me, and they let people rent the basketball court for a private parties. It's awesome to put a bounce in there. So, and anybody who lives near an airport, they all have hangars. They'll rent bounce houses for their kids' parties. Local sports domes, fields, anything like that is a place where you can put your bounce house. So figure out in that demographic, who's doing parties and how can you get to their vendor list? Be insured and introduce yourself. If they don't know you exist, they can't refer you. Right next door to me, a brand new building opened up that is a banquet hall for like 700 people. Huge. So I worked my butt off today helping them with their inaugural opening. They have already referred me to a mom who wants to put 4 bounce houses in that room, 1 in each corner. So don't ignore banquet halls. Anybody who serves food for Easter, serves food for brunch, serves food for weddings, they also do parties. So if they don't know anybody to refer for a bounce that will fit into their banquet hall, they should know you. That is a completely like a market that I walk into a banquet hall. I'm like, hey, who do you use for your throne chairs? Here's my card. Everybody who goes in there for a quinceañera or anything, they all want a chair. So your chair, your backdrop, your bounce house, people rent those places for kids' parties with their families, big parties, cultural parties. They will put a bounce house in there. They will also put a really loud DJ right next to you. So just count on that. But just go in and sell them. Say, hey, I have a bounce house. I can bring it inside and I'm insured. And I also have these other things that you might like. But if you can put your bounce house in a building and they don't know you exist, they should. So the other way to quickly find out where people have parties, untapped resource that you might not have thought about, because like there's this little place that's actually considered a rental room that's just a private room in a strip mall. Bounce house fits in there. I found them because little moms group, hey, where can I have my kids party in the winter? I need a room I can rent. Well, any room you can rent that's got big enough ceilings, they can actually put a bounce in there. But just do a quick request on Facebook in any parents group or any city group, like what's happening name of your city and say, where can I go in this city to have a party? I would like to have a bounce house inside. Does anybody know a place that'll take a bounce house? You get 15 answers. Parents are like the ultimate wealth of knowledge. They'll tell you anything.
Love
And
that.
then all of a sudden you now have a list of places to call because they can have your bounce house will fit in there. So introduce yourself to those businesses so they know they can use you. So that was if you only have bounces, that's my list of things that you can do that's not school, but where people need a place to have a party inside in the winter.
Do you find, so
Um,
Shane asked a good question. Do you find that, you know, in the summer, they just put it in their backyard. In the winter, they have to pay for the venue and they have to pay for the bounce house. So the budget might be an issue. Do you ever run into that?
They want a bounce house. They want a bounce house. I don't care.
Yeah.
They want a snow cone machine or a taco truck. It's going to show up. But you want to get to know Eola Community Center. It's a local park district room. And oh yeah, and all the park districts. Get to know all the park districts. It's a local park district room. We're a preferred vendor on their vendor list. It costs us $50 a year to be a preferred vendor on their vendor list. And I get park parties, which, yeah, I know people have one way or the other feelings about it. But in the winter, I'm their decorator. I'm their, I'm referred for decorating or referred for bounces. I'm referred for costume characters. I'm on their list and I do all of those things. Well, sooner or later, they pay attention to you. And I also service 3 or 4 other park districts with Santas and rentals and so on. And actually the park district hires us in, but you need to be on their vendor list. Forest preserves often have buildings. It's not just a forest preserve. They have buildings where you can have parties that are enclosed. So check your forest preserves. They're another great resource. There's a little forest preserve up in Dundee, Illinois that has a fantastic party room. So it's worth, zoos, anything like that. So just think, where can I put it? Not who, and then just let them know you exist. Most of the time they thank you because they don't know who can do it, or they don't know that you service their area. So draw a big 5-mile circle or 10-mile circle around your house and figure out how to get a hold of those people. I hadn't looked at the questions recently.
I'm staying on top of them. Someone's asking for a template that you send them. Do you have anything like that you can share? Maybe later on.
Yeah, I'll try and write up all the resources that I gave in the chat, and then I can share it with you and you can put it out there.
Okay, awesome.
As far as email goes, you can send an email and that's fine. But these people are just as busy as the rest of us. I'm going to honestly tell you, I make better contacts with most of those places if I'm out and about and I want to stop in and see a facility, just stopping in. I wanted to check out your facility. Somebody told me they could have a bounce here. Oh yeah, looks like you could. Yeah, they're looking at a party in like March. Are you able to let us? I mean, are you good with bounces coming here? Because your room would work for that. Oh, here's my card. Yeah, thanks for asking. By the way, I do backdrops and Santa chairs. But you just make it up. I mean, I can tell you all the time I'm calling places that are like there was any of the places that parents would put on the list. Hi, I have a parent that said that they're interested, that they're talking about renting your facility. Oh gosh, what was her name? Amy? Yeah, I think it's Amy. She was thinking about maybe putting a bounce house in there. Can you confirm with me if you guys allow that and how high your ceiling? You do bounce houses and you'll bring them inside? Oh yeah, I get requests for that all the time. Oh, you do? Boom. Who's Amy? I don't know.
What a boss.
It's small. It's a way to open the door. I mean, it's a way to have a conversation with somebody and you're just asking a legitimate question. They might say, oh, no, we don't allow that. Insurance, whatever. Okay, fine. Well, hey, if you ever need a backdrop. But so that's what I would do if you're looking for places to market your venue. That also ties hand in hand with developing a relationship with some of these sports complexes. If they have a dead day, hey, can we try once a month and I'll bring 2 bounces out and, we'll split the door. Worst case, you hauled 2 bounces out, saw 8 kids and made nothing. Best case, you saw 800 kids and you need to buy more bounces. I mean, in the middle of winter, if you're in an area where it's cold, parents are looking for something to do, so if you could coordinate, who is it who just put up, I saved it on my phone. Somebody just put up a post in a group that they're doing a fall fest and they've already got like 5,000 people interested in it, and they're charging $10 for a wristband. And I saved it on my phone because that's it. 541 Jump presents Pumpkin Festival at the Klamath County Fairgrounds, which are owned generally by a forest preserve or a park district, or October 21st and 22nd. And they're having face painting, photo ops, vendors, food trucks. There's a lot of stuff going on, but they're charging $15 for unlimited bouncing. So, and then they went out and got sponsors. So they got people to actually pay to be a sponsor for the event. Which is awesome. If you want to put that much footwork into it, then that guarantees that you've got money going into the event. But they just put a post up about how well that they were doing with that particular idea, which is, idea over and over again. You're basically just underwriting your own event. So you're going to find a place, partner with them, so they give you the place for free. You give them for the bounces for free. You both email your email list and say, hey, come out to our winter palooza. It's $15, and parents can just let these kids go crazy for half a day. So, Bounce Kingdom, awesome. Okay, so character costumes. Somebody asked me that in a direct message. Stephanie, PM me and I'll tell you more about that. Or email me. I'll put my email in here.
Before we go on to the next thing, Brendan, I think Brendan asked a two-part question. I think we answered.
I see it. I was just reading it.
Yeah, I think the first part we answered about how to promote, but the second part, do you use designated bounce houses for the indoor stuff, or do you just use your regular stuff? We use our regular stuff. It's clean.
Regular stuff, yeah.
Okay.
What is the best way to push area rentals for something like this? We share our business with the martial arts school, so we can fit into 6 bounces. Brandon, you just answered your own question, sort of. The martial arts school has probably, 400 to 600 kids that go to that school. Put up a flyer and have a party palooza day. These kids are active, healthy, looking for something to do. I would just say, since you share a business, say, hey, can I do this at your place one day? And then I'll tell all my people to come, and maybe they'll want to come do martial arts. Let's have a martial arts demonstration in the morning or every hour, and we'll bounce in between. And then get somebody to come vend healthy foods. I actually have a juice truck near me. He does all sorts of great healthy things. But a juice truck, who would think? And he also sells pierogi. So there you go. And I don't designate anything because honestly, somebody's having a candy theme party. I want to bring them a candy theme bounce house. So yeah, churches have, oh gosh, so many churches near me have space for a bounce because they have a recreation area or an auditorium. All these new churches, not the old churches, but anything new that doesn't look like a church, that looks like a big box with a cross on it, those all they've built them to have community rooms, and they're huge, they're massive. I am so impressed by the new trend in how they're building churches into multi-purpose facilities. So a lot of the non-denominational churches around us have, areas that you can rent, for your party, your speaking engagement, whatever. But most of them also have like a recreation area, basketball court for the kids that come to Sunday school and stuff like that. So that's an excellent point about the churches. But if you look for some of the newer pop-up churches, a lot of them have a big space. I'm so impressed with that. So that was my, if you only have bounces, kind of commentary, how I would market. If you want to dive backwards towards schools, and I know you have a whole course about this, Tariq, but at that point, I really recommend you consider some concessions and carnival games to go with that bounce, because that's who you're going to lose to. Okay. Fun services is the biggie, where they give away carnival games if you buy the prizes, but they all have bounces now, and they all have carnival games, and they make the goodies happen. So when somebody brings a school or easy answer question and a cheap add-on of a bounce, they go that direction. So they don't hit every school doesn't know about them. And not every fun services is a franchise. Not everyone has bounces, but if you're going to approach schools, it is something to seriously consider. If you're not just looking for field days, if you're trying to do winter business with schools, what value added can you bring to them to make you stand out above the other just bounce guy? Because to be honest, in my area, Tariq knows this, we have a lot of just bounce guys, you know, so they might be cheaper, but they also really need to have insurance. They really need to have background checks. They really need to have all of that in order. So the best way to market that is, hey, I'm insured. My guys have background checks. And if you go with me, I also can offer you these other things. You don't have to discount them. You just have to tell them this package is this much money. And it includes includes this and this. So it's something to seriously think about. What can you bring to your game if you're going to go approach schools?
So Stacy, this has been really, really great. Let's recap kind of what we covered so far. And while we do that, let me know in the comments. We've been going for about an hour. Let me know if you guys want to keep going or if you guys are good. I mean, if you guys want to keep going, we'll politely ask Stacy to stick around. Otherwise, we can go. So Bounce Kingdom says more, all caps. So Stacy, while we wait for us, where you guys are at, what you guys want to just put your questions or what you guys want to hear more of. So we talked about Santa's. You said that's a huge money maker, and we looked at the curve. It starts pretty much now, end of September, October, November. It really picks up. And Stacy said that December is your second busiest month. What's your first, by the way?
June.
July. Okay, so June is Stacy's first biggest month, and December is her second. Blowing me away here.
And the reason for June is because I have 10th graduation season.
All right, good to know. So we talked about Santa's, we talked about Santa's magic photo station, not a photo booth. We talked about pipe and drape, and all these things are things that you kind of really do from now until through December and really kicks butt for you.
Well, and pipe and drape is all year long, and you just repurpose that chair into something else if you like that chair. I mean,
I love the chair idea. So Stacy talked about, for those of you guys who missed it, we'll have the replay on the Event Hawk Facebook page and on our YouTube channel probably next week. The chair, like a chair that how much you rent it for? $80 to pick it up? And
I rent that chair for $85 pickup.
Pick up, no
since we don't do delivery under 100, they either have to pick it up or add something to it.
And then you also talked about reaching out to other holiday vendors. So if you don't want to do all this, if you don't want to do the Santa and all that, just reach out to you talk about reaching out to other Santas and stuff and saying, hey, we can do the things that you don't necessarily want to do. So awesome. And then last but not least, we talked about, if you just want to do inflatables, Stacy talked about some ideas like Fall Fest, indoor events, marketing to venues to do some of that. And I'm getting a lot of more here. So Stacy, you good to go on a little longer?
Well, you said a magic word just now. You said vendors. So you have vendors like entertainers, and I highly recommend partnering with a company that does face painting, balloons, magic, costume characters. Find any of those people, make sure to partner with them, make a good relationship there where you can either refer each other or you can book each other. But vendor fairs are a hidden gem. If you have concessions. So what you do is you go out and you spend $50 for a booth, $100 for 2 booths, and you tell them, I'm going to bring a bounce house for the kids. I'm going to sell cotton candy right next to it. And you're going to charge $8 for that cotton candy, and you're going to make money all day long. All day long. So everybody loves cotton candy.
Vendor. So you're saying this is like a convention for vendors, or what is it exactly?
Craft fairs. Any place that a whole bunch of people show up to buy things. There are vendor fairs all over the place.
Okay.
Arts and crafts fair, winter festivals, and if you're not working and you can go buy a $50 space and you can put your bounce there, you are now the entertainment and the babysitter, and you're handing out cards all day long to parents, and you do enter to win a free party. You give away a little gift basket and a $125 gift card if you want to, and you get everybody's email because they have to go through Event Hawk and use your enter to win a free party form, which I use regularly and all the time. And then you sell something right next to it. So if I were selling something at Halloween, I would be selling candy cups, which are this little balloon creation with candy in it. If I were selling something at a place that they would let me make something, I would be making cotton candy. I'd be making popcorn. I would be making nachos. Nachos sell better than anything. Everybody loves nachos. So you sell your concessions, and it's just, I worked at a carnival for a couple years. I traveled around with a carnival, went around. I was the person who put the arrows up to tell the carnival which way to drive, but I was also the person who pre-sold the parking lot. So I go to Walmart and be like, hey, can we set up for your Children's Miracle Network fundraiser? We're going to give you 15% of the proceeds. These are the dates we're available. Yep, sign. So I would go out and I'd market to get the parking lots so that we could set up the carnival. So I didn't directly work at the carnival, but I do know how to throw together a ride if I have to. I have put together a Ferris wheel. So there's that. But the thing that makes money at the carnival is not the carnival rides. There is more money in food than anything at a carnival. You want to be a food vendor in that situation. And so if you're not doing anything in the middle of winter and you have concessions, make those people work for you. And this is my second story of the day. Called a guy who wanted face painter. I face paint. We have face painters on staff. He's opening a data center and there's gonna be 2,000 people coming to this event. And he needs 2 face painters and 2 caricature artists. I'm talking to him. I was like, well, I want to make sure that we're realistic in our expectations of what they're going to get done, because that's not enough to service your whole crowd. So let's talk it through. So now I got a proposal for 2 face painters and 2 caricaturists and 4 face painters and 4 caricaturists. That's easy. I sub it out. I make a few $100s. So but it's 4 hours worth of work. So we're talking, and he's telling, he tells me he's already got his bounces scheduled. I was like, oh, well, that's great. But if next year, if you want to deal with just one vendor and not multiple vendors, I can help you with that. Oh, I've got food trucks scheduled. Oh, okay, that's great. I don't really necessarily do food trucks, but I have a great list of food trucks if you're ever stuck for like one particular kind of food. Well, I am. I don't have any desserts. Oh, you don't? Well, do you happen to have a cotton candy machine? Yeah. Matter of fact, I have about 4 cotton candy machines. And I also have blah, 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 blah. Oh, could you put that all in the estimate for me? I was like, well, you do realize it's not going to be in a truck, that we would need to be working under a tent. Who owns tents? And we're going to need a table or something to work off of, and definitely good power. Oh, well, we have a generator with drop boxes. Okay, great. You got your good power. No problem. So I can put that on there, and in the amount of hours that you're going on, you're going to need about this many servings. We'll bring a little extra, bill you if you go over. I'll set up a sweet station for you. Didn't even tell him what I was going to put on there. I'm just going to put it on his proposal because he needs a place for all of these people to go have dessert. So by talking to him, I was able to find out what other things that he needed, and was able to add on to that proposal to go from 2 and 2 to 4 and 4, and now a sweet station. And next year, I know he's got inflatables. So the next time and then we started to talk about Christmas. And so now we're going to talk about his holiday party next week after he gets through this party.
How much was that order?
The proposal came out to about $4,000.
Insane.
And then we have to staff it. So there's a separate thing for staffing if they want to do the staffing.
It's like a totally different game you're talking about here. I mean, those of you guys that know me, I've really downsized my party rental business because of Event Hawk. I've been focusing on that, but I don't hear a lot of people talk about the things that you do, right? In the groups that we're in. So I think this is really, really valuable because, man,
Well,
$4,000 event. I mean, give me half of that in the off season for one event, right? Like some of us have never hit that even in the busy season, but and you did that by just having a conversation with
hi,
somebody.
Santa Claus.
Yeah,
I just saw Santa Claus come up on my screen.
yeah, Santa, is that, I don't know if that's Zippy or not. I know Zippy was here
Is
first,
that Zippy?
maybe.
I can't tell from the little picture. Hey, Caesar, it looks like you're doing that with the cotton candy, snow cone, and popcorn, and you're selling it. So do you do well with that? I don't necessarily know about donate. I mean, I would pay for a vendor space so I can market my business, but if donating it gets you in the door to be able to make money on your snow cone, cotton candy, and popcorn.
Quick note on that. Would you recommend this? Because this is, we did one really, really successful pay to play, which now I don't want to talk about, but we put it on Eventbrite and that helped us. Like vendors started reaching out to us wanting to pay us. So this is, I just did this here real quick. Would you recommend going on? You guys see my Eventbrite screen? Yeah. Eventbrite has a bunch of events, and I'm looking like all these events here happening October 5th into December, January. Would you recommend like stuff near me, right? That's happening. Bourbon bonfire brunch and mimosa. Like, are you saying contact these people and say, hey, do you need some entertainment? Do you need a sweet station, etc.? And basically do it at no charge, maybe, and kind of self-servings? Is it like, would this be a good place to start?
That'd be great. That and Facebook events. There's tons of events on Facebook. Just look at what's coming up. That's where most of the mommies go.
Events. Okay, so Facebook events is your second place, guys. Eventbrite, I know, like for bigger events, and I think they put it on Facebook as well, but this is all local stuff.
But every one of these that has Christmas on it, they're all taking pictures. They all got Santas.
November through December. Tons of stuff. Annual conference like this, probably like what you're saying is, I don't even know what this is, but maybe they need a kids station or whatever, and you call a few months ahead.
And a lot of these people have already planned, stuff, but what you're looking at is to enhance their experience. So they've done the basic planning. They know the essentials that they need. So the guy today with the data center, he knew he needed bounce houses. He's had those booked for a couple months. But then, he was getting his RSVPs in, and then he realized that, they needed to add more entertainment into the mix. So you're looking at what you may or may not be able to do to enhance something that's going on. A lot of these people have done their events year after year after year. They might have their own backdrop. They're not going to usually have pipe and drink, but they might have their own backdrop. But do you have the ability to do pretzels or hot chocolate? Is there something else that you can do with your Christmas theme bounce house? If you've got a modular, just grab a banner. You get a Christmas themed banner for a modular bounce house and say, well, I could do this, and think about what would enhance their event. That I'm not saying give it away for free. I'm saying figure out, like, how can you say, well, have you ever considered doing something like this? This is something I do. So you don't need a backdrop, but have you ever thought about putting a bounce out in the parking lot? The kids that are waiting in line to get in can go out and they can still bounce if it's temperate outside. I mean, we stop at 40 for the most part, but we've gone much colder if it's necessary. It's not fun to wrap cold vinyl, but I get a lot of winter festivals that want a bounce house. So throw down a tarp, throw out some sandbags, kids will take off their shoes. I have no idea why our parents would let them do that, but they will. So I also own a sleigh. So there's that.
Blowing us away here. Okay, so vendors. So we got the vendor conventions and stuff like that. Use Eventbrite, Facebook events.
But those people need food. So if you have concessions, think about how can you package your concessions up into a concession stand? How many people need to work it? And you need to carefully consider whether or not you need the license, the food handling, food service thing. Some people will require it and some people won't. The way we work around that is they rent the machine, they buy the supplies, and they hire the server. So we're not working it as one contiguous unit. I do have people that are food service certified that I can call in if I need to use them, but don't get stuck in a situation where you show up to do something at, say, an Oktoberfest that the city's involved in, that they have a taste of barbecue. They're going to have food people out there. But if you go to Santa's Village, where they're just gonna have not food trucks necessarily, or not like booths for food necessarily, but a couple food trucks in the parking lot, you're probably safe in a situation like that. But billing wise, I always bill it as, you know, a rental of a machine, which I discount off the cost of the supply. You know, if I'm going out to vend for food, I still provide a write-up for that in a manner that, you know, it reflects that there's a rental, and then there's a food cost, and then there's a labor cost. 90% of the time, nobody cares. But in the event you're in a situation that you need to be able to show that it was a rental item, that's going to be your backup, is to have a ticket on it. So I don't know if I delved into something that was confusing there, but just be mindful where you're selling food is what I'm saying. Vendor fare in a gym that it's a whole bunch of crafters, they don't care. So
Yep, I'm confused. Just ask, just make sure, you know, again, when you're handling with food, sometimes you need a food license. So definitely don't go to like a big fest where you're going to be handling.
yeah, don't do it at barbecue fest.
Yeah, it gets shut down. But and we're just talking, not talking about inflatable. We're talking about if you're going to serve cotton candy and basically sell cotton candy, like Stacy said, for $8 a piece. So that's,
or if you're gonna make green and red popcorn next to your Christmas theme bounce house and you paid $100 for a vendor spot, well, you paid for that vendor spot, so that's one thing. But if you're just gonna go out and, you know, vend someplace as a concession stand, be mindful of what their rules are for vendors. They'll be upfront with you if you're a food vendor and they need licensing. They'll tell you before you pay your $50 or whatever it is. So I talked about who only has bounces. I talked about add-on items, which was, you know, the concessions. It's not just a concession, it's a concession stand, and how you can make that a little zazu there and a little extra money on the side. Talked about the vendor fairs. I talked about backdrops, piping. I'm going through my list here. Backdrops, pipe drip, throne chairs. Throne chairs are expensive. They are a solid renter, but not renters like bounce houses. So start with a smaller and see if you get any uptick. Worst case, you got a cute chair for your living room. But if you see a lot of uptick and you think that your market will stand it, you start to get people asking for it. Throne chairs are, you know, a nice winter. I mean, I probably have today alone, I talked to 3 people about throne chairs. So they are something people look for. They haven't gone out of style. They're big, and you always have to touch up the paint on them. So there are things there to keep in mind, but you're getting the same price to move a chair in a building as you do to rent a bounce house. So there's that. It's a lot less to some extent. We talked about the photo stations versus backdrops. A couple of people said that they were doing balloons. We talked about carnival games. The last thing I had on my list was lawn signs and light up numbers for marquees. So we sell a product in our shop that is actually a lawn sign product. It's a 48-inch letter that has a spot where they cut holes through it so that you can put actual bulbs in it. A set of these letters, I want to say, ran me a couple $100. I buy from my lawn sign company. I have about, I don't know, way too many lawn signs. Lawn signs are a great upsell. It's not a business to get into. It's a declining business, but it is a loss leader. So if you have lawn signs and you haven't thought of them like that, you need to consider that, making sure that everybody who ever rents a bounce house, you know, gets a chance to add a lawn sign for X amount of dollars. You can have one thing you recycle constantly. You can consistently add 75 to 125 to a bounce house rental, because people having a birthday party, they want a sign. So, but they do these letters that everybody asks for, along with throne chairs. Everybody asks for the marquee letters. You see them constantly, you know, they spell out names, they have the box letters. Those box letters run a couple $100 each for the most part, and you have to deliver them and you have to babysit them. This a whole set of numbers or letters out of coroplast, which is the same material as a lawn sign. A full set's gonna run a couple $300 instead of one letter. The light bulbs you get at Michael's. You put these in, and in a picture, they look nearly the same as the three-dimensional because they're printed in a manner that they're three-dimensional. I don't know how to drop a picture in here, but I can add it to my list of things that I'm gonna compile for you guys. I rent these for $35 each with a stand. And they're a pickup item that they can pick up and bring back. Now mine are pretty big because I got 48 inches, but I'd recommend 36 inches as a good starter set. They rent consistently for quinceañeras and sweet 16s and 40th birthdays and 60th birthdays. And everybody who rents them is usually renting a throne chair and a backdrop as well. But again, a great pickup item that you can sell repeatedly over and over again for $85 is what we sell ours for $35 a letter and $10 for the lawn sign stand. We don't put our lawn signs in grass anymore. We do everything on stands because that way they can move it around if they want to move it around. I do them indoors all the time. So if somebody's having a birthday party inside, their name on a stand, we drop it off, we pick it up. It's easy for my guys to handle. I assemble them, they get delivered, they come back in pieces because the guys take them apart when they pick them up. But these lighted lawn letters, these lighted numbers and letters are a great seller for us. We sell them on a regular basis, and people walk in, they see them in the shop and they order them. There are some people who still want the 3D marquees, but these are what I call a mock marquee, and they're another really great add-on. If I were to add on anything, I'd add on a 16 and a 15 because they rent the most. You're not going to find them on there. Here, I'll send you a picture in Messenger that you can figure out how to show these guys. But those are the ones that they spend $50 to $100 to rent. Like, per letter is $50 to $100, like in my area per letter. And that's on the cheap side. Now, but to buy them, they're super expensive to buy.
We're talking about off season. Are these renters in off season? Do these like?
Yeah, absolutely. You put them on a stand. I do everything on a stand.
Okay.
So the stand is just a piece of plywood with holes cut in it to take the lawn stakes. You can buy them from whatever lawn supply company that you happen to buy your signs from. I'll list my resources on that as well.
Go ahead and send me something on Messenger. I'll pull it up.
I'm sending it right now. You got it.
Yeah, it looks like the same thing I was showing. No? Okay, so this is
that's the stand, and those are the numbers. And you can see there's a table next to it, so you can see the height of them. They love them, and there's a double settee throne chair in the back.
Hold on, so that's not a real light.
Those are real lights in a piece of coroplast, but because they're printed in 3D in a photo or with balloons thrown around it, it looks great still. And I can sell that for 80 versus one number for 80 to 100, for 50 to $100 plus delivery. My clients can pick this up or have it delivered, but
so this is not really 3D. It's like cardboard with lights.
No, it's like a lawn sign, like you would put for a realtor sign. It's that thin plastic coroplast is what it's called.
Where would I buy this?
I'll give you a list of resources. I buy mine from Boulevard Babes, Yard Card, Boulevard Babes. I love them, but I have about 5 people I buy from.
Oh.
But these guys are that's them, Yard Card Boulevard right there.
This one?
These guys are my favorite. Just search, if you put in the search part, light up or lighted, something like that. So all these things take lights. So go back to that Christmas tree. Oh, you were good. Just scroll back down. Here, Merry Christmas, Happy Birthday. All of these take the lights in them. So they're just showing you the cutouts. So like that Merry Christmas, if I were to rent that, I'd probably rent it somewhere in the neighborhood of a couple $100 with the lights in it.
And it's $99. So how do you get the lights in there? Just like what kind of lights?
They come with holes. You have to go and I buy my lights from Michael's because they're easy and I get a coupon.
Oh my God, you are blowing me away. Michael's.
But a couple of stands are gonna run another $100 or whatever, but I get the big lights from Michael's instead of the small ones. I like the big ones in there. I don't like the twinkle lights per se. But they sell Christmas trees that light up. They sell the Merry Christmas you saw. I had her custom make Hoko and prom because those are big for us. People like to do a throne chair with a backdrop and like the word Hoko or prom. I sell the years constantly during graduation. I'm always selling 23, 24, whatever the graduation year is. They love it. So
Where did you say you get the stand from for lights?
she sells them.
Okay.
You can also get them on eBay or on Amazon. There's a very simple stand on Amazon. I think a 3-pack's $120 for a 3-pack, and I use those all the time.
I want to stress here that what Stacy
Kate, I love that you're messaging people with events right now. They might not respond at 8:30 at night. But they might close something. I want to hear what happens.
Yes. And he's challenging everybody to share a success story.
Oh no, Caesar, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to I hope they're old enough to understand why we do, just because we need places for all of them to go. Sorry, I was reading the comments.
I just want to stress that what you're doing is very different than what most of us do. Is we rent out a bounce house. You are supplying an experience where it's a lot more than an item that you're renting. You're going from being a party rental company to providing an experience like, hey, we're going to give you the Santa experience, the holiday party experience with the backdrop and the food concession. Like you're doing the whole thing. And I love that. And I think that it takes some mindset shift. So rather than just driving, promoting your website and saying, hey, go order online, you're getting people to, I assume you're getting them to fill out like a quote form. Is that what you're doing?
Yeah, I have some forms set up in Event Hawk that I'll send them to get extra details. So like I have a Santa request a quote on Santa and it says, do you need props? Do you need this? Do you need that? And they'll mark what things they're interested in. And then that helps me get back. Like, so if I'm not speaking to them, I have go to Santa Stops By. I can show you how to get to there. I can show you my integrated Event Hawk form.
Do it. So Santa
stops by.com.
I like that website.
Go to get a quote. Get right there. Get a quote. Welcome to my Event Hawk form.
All right.
And that sends it into IO. And then I can see that there's a form and then I can see what they were most interested in.
So this is long. Do you get a lot of people fill this out or?
Yeah, because it's long, but it's kind of just, it is, they either want it or they don't. Okay.
So then when you receive this information from Event Hawk, you call them. Is that correct? Is that what they're expecting?
I start putting in what they might have asked for because some of that's pretty basic. So if they just mark C to Santa for 15 minutes, I will generally send them so if they just grab wish list visit 15-20 minutes, 2 to 4 participants, I know what they need there. So I'll get a quote geared up. I usually will, on something that's smaller and simple, I'll usually email them the quote and then I'll also send them a text and say, hey, I got your request. I've sent you a quote. Is there a good time to call? And they'll either respond or they won't respond. But if they go to the column on the right where it says Santa chair backdrop sets, I'm calling every one of those people that mark off stuff on the right.
Okay. So you text them through Event Hawk first and try to set up a call, but ultimately,
if it's a simple one, I just send them a quote through Inflatable Office and I send them a text. If it's got more stuff written on it, or other please call me, they're going to get a phone call from me. So a local daycare center went in and put in that they wanted a sleigh and an elf helper and a Santa chair and a backdrop and a Santa. Well, they got a $2,500 quote and a phone call from me. Ironically, the person who put it in her emails keep bouncing back and then somebody else asked for the same stuff from a gig service. So I got a different email and a different person with a different name. So I forwarded her the quote, said, your assistant or someone asked for this and their emails are bouncing back. So is this what you're looking for? So that was a weird one. I don't know what happened with that.
Book them? Did they book?
Oh, no, not yet. But that was just day before yesterday. So.
Well, for anybody who's interested in learning more or getting a strategy, I'll share this here as well. So you can scan this QR code or just text us and we'll set up a strategy session. And I want to touch on one last thing that you talked about while I keep this up here. So you mentioned something, you glossed by really quick, and I just want to know if it's working for you. You mentioned you really glossed by it, and I signed up for these services before, and I'm like, whoa, I've used that before. She didn't even talk about it. You mentioned gig salad and gig masters.
Okay.
Do those work for you? I mean, are they worth it? And should we talk more about that, or just not really, just kind of talk?
No, I have a good definitive opinion on it. So they work very well for me seasonally. So my Easter bunnies and my Santas, I'd say 80% of my new business comes from those lead services.
So which one's your favorite?
I'm on Gig Salad, which is and then I'm also on the Bash, which used to be Gig Masters.
So these are essentially you pay like a monthly fee, and then every time somebody,
it's not even monthly, I pay yearly, and there's always coupons. If anybody's interested in signing up for Gig Salad, they have if you call them, they're very personable. They will give you whatever coupon is available, and it's usually well, there's a coupon up there. That's the best coupon, the 50% off. But if you are a renewing client after the 50% off, they'll consistently give you 25% off if you call and ask for the coupon.
So
I get a ton of requests for face painting, balloons, and holiday characters, and I consistently get work through them. But people are confused by these services, but these services own the internet. Okay. If you search for Santa visit, or we'll see.
Yeah, I'm trying to see. So basically what they do is they market Santa so you don't have to. So if you don't want to worry about running Google ads or Facebook ads, they will do it. But then the only issue is they send the quote to like 30 people, right? Like not just
right. So the client comes in, they can either choose you individually or they can choose to send it to everyone. Okay. So when they choose, just go back to Santa and see if it narrows it down. Because pretty much when you search, a lot of times you just get Gig Salad and Gig Masters over and over again. Oh, no, I meant the
oh, here. Yeah, that's what I thought. Like Santa visit. I don't know if it's like an ad. I got Chicago parent. Maybe it's our area.
Which I'm surprised that they're popping up first. Santa in Chicago. He does a great job.
What else?
Santa near me.
Santa near me. Yeah, they're not. Eventbrite.
Okay.
So sometimes you'll see for certain things they will advertise for you. And what do they
normally? Well, try Easter Bunny and
Bunny?
See. It's more Christmas season right now, but
they're slacking.
Normally this is not what I see on my screen, but I don't know. Long story short, most of the time, I'm gonna search on my screen. The first 5 or 8 that you're gonna see are usually a derivative of the best top 10 Santas in your area, blah, 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 blah. And then you're going to get like a compilation list, and they want you to click on that to tell you, and then you're going to wind up in this spot. It also could be where you're searching from, because they're very geo-targeted. I will tell you that. they're very much going to show up in certain areas more than others. But again, if you ask them, they will tell you what area, like if you call and talk to them, they're going to tell you their highest search areas. So like I just reached out to the Bash and I asked them, because I do a little targeted advertising with the Bash where I put a featured profile up. And when I put the feature profile up, I want to know who's getting the most searches right at that time. And she listed off the top 5 cities that were getting the most searches for Santa Claus. So if I was going to pay $40 for a featured profile ad, I want to be in this, I want to be in the area that they're targeting their market in. So
the
oh,
Bash.
look, there's us
Which
right
one?
down there. Third one at the bottom.
Oh, there you go. Very cool.
So anyway.
So request a free quote and then that comes to you.
Right. So they can either do an independent quote or they can just send it to everybody. There's my Easter bunnies. I flip-flop that profile to Easter bunny rentals and I don't know, and Santa stops by. I split my year. That profile is specifically for that. I have a secondary profile for entertainment only for like face painting, animal balloons and stuff. So on all of the site services, you can be in categories. So I target profiles based on the categories I want to gain business in. Because you can't micro focus in here. You can't, somebody's going to look for a face painter, but they're not going to call Santa stops by for a face painter. So I maintain multiple profiles based on what I want to market. I'm going to tell you, as a bounce house company, unless it has gotten better, I would not put money into the Bash for rentals. After COVID, dead. I haven't seen an uptick on it, so I actually withdrew my rental profile.
Oh yeah, I never use them. Google Ads just keeps us so busy.
Right. But if you have a niche that you need to market, like, so I still get stuff, you know, as a referral, I still get referral work, but people don't look for tents on a gig service. They don't look for bounces so much on a gig service. They're looking more for entertainment and specialty things there, but they do have categories for that. So yeah, you got to ask, they gather all the
If I had to
details.
pick one, which one would you recommend?
I like gig salad better than the Bash.
So, okay.
I sell equally as much on both of them, but I take almost all of my clients off of the site to do my quoting and booking and communication. I do everyone that I send out, I send them communication, I send them a quote, and then I say, I'll call you. And the reason why is, and this is what I was getting to ultimately on these services, is that they send it to 30 people and they instantly get 30 responses. It's not a whole bunch of people just click a whole bunch of buttons and they don't ever think that to call them. And the people that are looking there are mostly corporate. So most of my stuff that comes across there is corporate and Christmas Eve visits. But in general, most of the people looking there aren't looking for small things. They're looking for more. So when I pick up the phone to those people, I usually have bigger tickets because they have other things that other points of sale that I can help them with. So if you're fast to call them, you'll close the sale because they don't have time, nor do they want to sort through all 30 responses. And if they do, then they're not your client anyway. You want the person that is ready to make a decision in a short period of time. And they might want a few of them, but I'm going to tell you, after they sit around and wait for those other 29 people to call them and maybe 1 or 2 do, you're already in the running because you called them as quick as you could. But most of the time, nobody else calls, and they'll even, another story. 5 Star Mart is having their 20th anniversary sale this week, 20th anniversary this weekend. She was looking for a costume character. So I responded to her through the gig service and I said, I'll give you a call. So I called her, I talked to her about her costume character needs. We picked out a character she wanted. We figured out the times that she wanted. I got her a proposal for that. And yeah, I do entertainment about once a month. I do face painting and I'll do balloons, and I like to do something different for the kids from time to time. I really wanted to spice it up, blah, blah, blah. You know anybody who does balloons? Well, yeah, I jam balloons, 35 years of balloons. I could help you with balloons. So she went from a character sale on a gig service, completely off the service, to 2 arches and an hour and a half costume character. But the beautiful thing is she does this every single month. So I said to
Wow.
her, how about we sit down and make up your calendar, and then I can help you with some of those things and take all of that searching off your plate. She's like, that would be amazing, because every time I do one of these services, what happens is I send out a lot of messages and I get some responses back, but after the first response, I don't usually get anything else. Because they think they're just going to click to book, because their prose was so wonderful in their response. It's not. They're
So
overwhelmed. They don't read past the first 2 or 3 responses. Then they either look for price or wait for somebody to call them or get frustrated and keep looking.
we've seen that
Aw,
too.
thank you, Bounce Kingdom.
There you go. This meeting is worth $1,000 in itself. I could not agree more. This has been really, really, really
Yeah,
awesome.
Thumbtack, balloon artist to everyone, Thumbtack. I backed away from Thumbtack. They've been through so many iterations of how you pay. I'm going to tell you, I don't even know what their current iteration is. The thing about Thumbtack, I was just getting dinged right and left for forgetting to cancel a lead or paying too much for a lead. The only time, and Thumbtack worked great for a while. I mean, I had a great rating and I had great sales on there. But at one point, it used to be you could buy credits and it was 1 credit or 2 credit to respond. And then it got to be $5.19 a lead, blah, 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 blah. It got really confusing and I backed away from it and, kind of did whatever the free thing was, but then they got rid of that. And so I don't know if they're currently on a membership situation, if they're still pay per lead, but the big cautionary tale I had was if you don't stay on top of Thumbtack, they can wind up costing you a fortune. And I mean, I went to bat with them. I fought with them. I finally realized it wasn't worth $17.90 for somebody who asked about a balloon column, but didn't really want a balloon column over and over and over again. Those leads just were not worth the dollar value. And I wasn't getting the response out of that service that I got out of other services, partly because they weren't giving me the data that I wanted. Like right away, I get phone numbers and emails on other services, and I don't even know if they give you emails now or if they give you phone numbers. I'm really behind on Thumbtack. So they could have improved their service. And when it was good, it was really good. And again, on Thumbtack, I got a lot of good corporate clients there. But once it went bad, it went really bad, really fast. So my opinion on Thumbtack is a little bit behind. Oh, that's Zippy. Hey, Zippy. My opinion on Thumbtack's a little bit behind, but I'll trust your guidance if they're doing good to tell people that they are worth taking a look at. Just be very mindful of how you hook your credit card up to them. It's pay per lead, and those kind of sites are crazy on how they charge. So Gig Salad and Gig Master are not pay per lead. You have a membership on, I can't get past Gig Masters. It's the bash now. But so Gig Salad, I pay yearly and that's that. It's done. The bash, they charge you when you book. So I always tell the clients, because I respect these services need to make their money too. I will tell every client, I sent you a quote through the bash. I've called you so I can refine this quote to what you want, because I need a little more information. They don't give you their addresses, they just give a city. So in order for me to be able to make sure that we service you and there's no additional travel charges, I need to get an address of where you're going to be. And I need to better understand what you expect from your performer. I'm going to send you a quote through my quoting system. If you agree to it and everything looks good, I can update the quote on the bash. Oh, no, that's okay. I can just go direct with you. That's fine. Well, but I want to make sure you understand that I have no problem if you want that extra layer of protection, that I will happily update the same cost. But the thing is, you can't send an itemized estimate through the bash. You can only send one price. I would prefer to send you an itemized detailed estimate. And then if you'd like to update it, you can. Oh, no, really, that's too much hassle. Just send me your estimate. If I like it, we'll go with you.
Love the psychology. Love the psychology. Guys, while we're
Well,
if you
I
have
want
any,
to capture them off because I don't want to pay the $20.
yeah, but I love that you're giving them the opportunity. Feel
Well,
free.
it's
We have a
legit.
smaller group right now, so if you guys want to unmute yourselves or put your questions in the comments, we can go from there. Anything else, Stacy? Any other off-season ideas that you want to touch on?
The virtual services for your, I don't understand how I can do a inflatable virtually. I might not be reading that right.
Yeah, so Stacy, we are in the construction of our website right now, so like with IO, and we were thinking about doing the complete like virtual checkout option, right? But like it sounds like you have a lot of success with doing request a quote forums and things of that nature, and I'm just wondering if you do any like complete online bookings or not.
I don't let people go to the end of the booking online. I don't have anything that automatically books. That's me. I also use Inflatable Office, but the reason why is because I have a vast catalog of products. So when I am finished adding my entire catalog of 15,000 plus items to Inflatable Office, I will release 3 things for auto booking: tables and chairs and bounce houses. I'm not going to do it until everything's up and running smoothly though. And the reason why is because I don't have any order that is just a bounce house. I can't say that 100%. Most of my orders have multiple components. So the minute you add a cotton candy machine, a tent, or anything else to an order, it mucks up how we do our deliveries and our routing and what truck it goes on. And I have 3 different locations. So I have to also make sure that if somebody's getting like AV from a location, I have to charge them a warehouse transfer fee to get them over to the other location. Different things. So I'm a little different than most. If you are only going to be inflatables and you feel confident that you can handle the turnarounds and you know the parameters and you know how to work IO, and if you don't, get with Tariq because he'll tell you, then let people auto book, because that's like free money. They're gonna book 2 o'clock in the morning. Parents are lazy and they have nothing to do at night when the kids are in bed, and they're gonna book their bounce house then. You do not want to be on the phone with them then. You don't want them texting you then. You don't want to hear about it then. You just want that money to magically show up on the computer. But be very careful about how far you'll travel, you know, what your travel fees are, what your turnaround time is, and what your downtime is. And I would pad that downtime, because there's never a day that goes as smoothly as you think it's going to. So if you need to have, you know, on either side of your bounce house, if you say it's 15 minutes to set up and 15 minutes to tear down, and you're not going to book it again that day, then make that, you know, that the other window longer. So that I pad mine because I run everything in a route like everybody else does, but I don't flip my units. So depending on how you handle that situation, I just say, be mindful of that. I'm pretty lazy. I like to leave them overnight.
Same. What's your
Even
web?
when I don't get the money from people to leave them overnight, most of the time they just live there. Is it safe? Okay, we'll come tomorrow.
Surprise, yep. Shane Broom is asking for your website. They'd love to see how you have your categories.
Oh, you don't want to see my categories. There's way too many of them. Partysaver.com. Unfinished. I like my Santa site better.
Partysaver.com. Gotcha. What about?
And I have a lot of categories.
Shannon is asking, what about travel fees? Is there a max distance? Not sure. That's if he's asking for you or what, you or for himself. You could set a max distance.
In inflatable office, I have mine set to 5 miles is $85. And then after that, I just go to strict, $1.25 per mile after that. I drive box trucks though. So if you're on a smaller kind of vehicle, you know, but remember $1.25 is $5 a mile. So if somebody's 10 miles away, they're now 100 and some odd dollars. But again, I drive box trucks, so I have to account for 3 men in a truck at all times. We used to do mileage and time in the car and all kinds of stuff. I haven't had any pushback on my delivery fees. And here's my theory. If you buy a refrigerator, they're going to charge you $99 to bring you a refrigerator and take away a refrigerator. They don't come back again. They just come once. So if that refrigerator were to be a bounce house, it's $200. And you never buy a refrigerator more than 5 miles from your house, probably. So think about what a convenience fee delivery is and don't shy away from it. Free delivery, and I know a lot of people do that, but I hope your bounce houses are priced to account for that delivery, because gas, trucks, time, and I will admittedly tell you that I lose money on delivery. Even at $85, I lose money on delivery. One guy loads a bounce, puts it in a truck, drives to somebody's house, unloads it, sets it up, comes back and does that all over again. Even if they're within 5 miles, there is at least a half-hour of labor in each side of that. Okay, so that's loading and unloading, not even the setup of the bounce. We're just talking 15 minutes or so to get it in the truck, out of the truck, talk to them, figure out where they want it. You automatically have right now 2 hours of labor into delivery, an hour if you're lucky. You know, so an average employee cost of $25, let's say, with your taxes and stuff thrown in, and an average of 2 men on the truck, you're at $50 that you're paying out of pocket, that you're not even seeing because you're paying it out of pocket. Plus, then you have your gas, the wear and tear on the vehicle. And again, no day ever goes exactly how you planned it, because somebody got lost for 4 miles and then they drove through the drive-through and they went to Taco Bell and got Taco Bell in your truck, and on and on and on. So think about that. And I mean, if I've clocked it time and time again, $85, I lose money. It's close. I mean, sometimes I gain money, but most of the time I lose money. But again, I will reinforce that I'm very rarely delivering just a bounce house. So you also have to calculate in the time for tables, the time for chairs, et cetera, et cetera. So if you're just throwing 8 bounces and you're going boom, boom, boom. Oh, here's a golden nugget. Don't ever give anybody, I've been burned on this 1,000 times. And if you're a nice person, you always want to do it. Oh, you know, that next delivery is only like 2 miles from you, so I'm going to take off $40 of your delivery charge because I only have to drive 2 miles. I can tell you at least 10 times I can think of that first delivery canceled. And now I got to honor that $40 because that first delivery kid got sick, decided to do a different day. All of a sudden they need a different piece of equipment that goes on a different truck, and I can't get both things on the truck. Don't ever cheat your delivery. Don't ever cheat your delivery.
I love that example. That's a good one to use. Even, I mean, again, we're the same way. I never have anybody complain about delivery fees. It's expected, but I love the refrigerator story. So if you ever get resistance for delivery fee, you can mention that.
Usually I do the whole that, and then I explain to them, we're there, we load, we unload, we come back, we do it all over again. But I'll tell you what, I do have a bounce house you can pick up if you'd like to do that all yourself. And it's the same price, and you get it for 24 hours and you can bring it back the next day.
Nope.
That's okay. I'll pay you the $120. Oh, okay, great. Bounce Kingdom rules and rental agreement, and phone or in person or at delivery. So pretty much they sign off on that digitally. If you want a nice way to do kind of reinforce it, you could kind of send them you can do a survey in IO that they can go through, and yes, I agree, I'm going to clean up my dog poop. Yes, I'm going to make sure that kids don't bounce with earrings on and knives in their pocket. That's another way to make sure they've kind of read it all, is you could do it as a survey. Old school, you hand them a piece of paper and this is what you agreed to on the computer, but I rely on the digital document to supersede anything else. Because I'm gonna tell you 5 times out of 10, guys are probably not really doing that in the field. They're in a hurry. They want to get on to the next one. It's not what I want them to do, but I can pretty much tell you one guy thinks the other guy did it. The other guy thinks the other guy did it. I'm going to go with you signed something because I know for sure I've got that. And if I don't have that, Heather is going to harass the people until they sign it. So it's a multi-pronged question. Ideally, it's done personally by the drivers, but in the event that they are just having a bad day or they forget and just do the bare minimum, at least I know I've got that document signed. And if you don't know, if you're in Inflatable Office Bounce Kingdom, I don't know if you are, but you can get them to initial things with the asterisk, initials, asterisk. So if you want to make sure, like my addendum on bounces, when it pops onto my contract, has things that they have to actually initial and sign off on within the contract.
Bounce Kingdom, I don't know if we're doing your inflatable office stuff, but if we are, then you could just text in and we could help you pull that.
Okay, cool.
And I don't know if I ever answered about max distance. I don't have a max distance as long as they want to pay me money, but I cap out at, it goes to, I rely on my minimum orders. So my minimum order for up to 5 miles is 100, then it jumps to 125 and it just goes up incrementally. Once they get to about 40 miles, their minimum order is around $3,000. And after that, it pops to $5,000. That'll still send me their name and phone number. It won't put a lot of stuff in. Like I had a lady today that was 0.5 miles over the $100 to go to 125, and she was getting kicked out and being told 125. I called her, I picked up the phone, I forced her order. It was fine. For $5, I'm not, or for 0.5 miles, I'm not gonna worry about it. But I had to do that manually. So I just make it exorbitant to use me in an area I don't want to go to. But when I'm going to those areas, I'm usually doing a job of that size, and it's quite all right. I'll be happy to travel back and forth to Dixon, Illinois, if you need me to for $5,000.
Enough said.
Bounce Kingdom, did you have a question? Your screen popped up.
Oh, you make me want to ask a million questions. But man,
I
it's
always
just,
strive for that.
yeah, we my business, we launched like only like a week and a half ago, and we just did 2 major events, and
He's
we
fresh.
popped off. Yeah, and we have like 20 Google reviews now already and everything like that, and we're just trying to figure out just everything. And like with these delivery fees, like everyone's so cheap around our area, and it's like they only charge like $225 for the slides and everything, and they don't even put delivery fees and stuff. So when you guys are talking about all these like fees and you guys are charging like $300-$400, I'm just like, wow, it seems like we can't do that because of the competition. It's like not doing that, you know?
Got to grow your pumpkins. You got to find the clients that you want to be your clients, and work on nurturing those relationships. You're only 2 weeks in, so it's really hard to say that. All right, so here's the thing you need to many, many years ago, things were always $100. Those people that are less expensive, what's their inventory? You gotta research your market, which you probably have done in order to buy your own equipment. I'm sure you looked around and you said, hey, what do these people have? You know, are they all rocking water slides all year long and that's pretty much all they have is water slides? Or are they almost all just, one-off bounce houses? Are they the character guy that's got every character bounce house that's ever been made? What are those people's stock like in comparison to your stock? Okay, if everybody's got the same red, yellow, and blue slide, then there's no reason not to go with the cheapest red, yellow, and blue slide. But wait, this guy has a bubble machine with his. I hate bubble machines. Don't do bubble machines. But what do you have that's different than the other red, yellow, and blue slide? Do you have better customer service? Do you have better insurance? Do you show up in a ice cream truck? What do you do that makes you stand out against everybody else's red, yellow, and blue slide? Well, you got 20 reviews in 2 weeks, so you must be doing something freaking great. But would you rather deliver 10 things at $225 all in? Or would you rather deliver one thing for $2,250? Just to know it's an answer.
Yeah, so you said deliver one thing for like 200 and like some dollars,
Would
right?
you
And what
rather deliver 10 bounces at $225 each, or would you rather deliver one thing for $2,250?
one thing for sure.
Okay, so can you be the one thing red, yellow, and blue bounce house guy? I mean, how can you set yourself apart to make your ticket the better value? The better value is in not like the cheapest, like the best overall thing. So my advice would be look at what everybody else is doing and wonder why they're cheap. Do they got insurance? Do they legitimately got insurance? Because I'm going to tell you, my insurance cost me half of an arm and all of my legs. I mean, I carry a $3 million endorsement because that's what schools require around me. So do they legit have it? You know, do you have inspections? Do they have inspections? Where can you shine, or what can you put down for those parents to say, well, I know it's $2,000 more, but I think I want to go with this guy instead. It's not going to be that. But if you're ranking in $50 more, $50 isn't anything if you're the guy who answers the phone or the guy who answers their questions. You know, that takes a little extra time. You might eventually have that be somebody in the office that does that. But, you know, do you send them a postcard after their event? There's services where you can automatically have them get a postcard in the mail. Do you drop off a goodie bag? Pain in the ass, but do you drop off a goodie bag? Are you the guy that's got the magnets? Do you leave a little sign in the yard that says happy birthday? What can you do that makes you better than those 225 guys for the same thing? And then you get to charge a whole lot more for it. Because Santa showed up and delivered a bounce house. No, I'm just teasing. It's been done.
I think honestly, and I have a slightly different approach than Stacy, only because I'm not as big as Stacy. I think it's once you're Stacy's size and once you've been around for as long, it's easy to say, right? But you know, Bounce Kingdom, I totally get it. When you're starting out, you need every order you can get, and you're willing to do things that you may not be willing to do later on. And
Oh no, I did the $100, but I stood in front of a bounce for 2 hours for $125. I was there. That was like before inflation. I think Jimmy Carter might have been president. But I mean, when we first used to do our bounce houses, we would bring it for 2 hours. We would stand with it for 2 hours, the most mind-numbing 2 hours of your life. And then we would wrap it up and take away and hope to go to another one that day. I don't think I mean, we probably double dipped a few times, but it's rare to double dip. I've realized that I would just rather own more bounces than run around and flip bounces. But that's just where I got to. But as you're building, if you keep in mind some of these steps as to where you want to get to, then you know what your goal is. I mean, I'm not the #1 person they recommend on Facebook when they're asking for a bounce house. I'm not. I hate to say this, but I'm not a bounce house company. Okay. I'm a company that brings you your party. I bring you all the things you need. I'm going to take care of your headache with a tent, a table, a chair, a bounce house, cotton candy machine, a photo booth, a character, whatever the frick you need. I'm that person. Okay. That's a lot of work, but I'm taking home $2,250 versus $250. And you're not going to get there overnight, and you might not ever want to get there. You might just want to be the bounce house guy, but you can be the best damn bounce house guy there is in that city and make $50 more or whatever you want to do. So it's not a bad thing for me to not just be the bounce house guy or girl or they, whatever the pronoun is. Because that's not where I want my market position to be. But that was a decision I made 20 years ago. When I finally got roped into doing tents with Stacie Chase, but I love. So when I finally saw the light with that, it changed the whole course of my business. So it's not, it's a path you're going to follow to decide what's best for you. I mean, you sound like you're doing great. And you've got all the right questions, and you can figure out all these answers, and you're going to figure out an answer, and you're going to backtrack and say, what the heck was I thinking, charging $125 to go, $125 for delivery to go anywhere up to 15 miles. Suddenly 15 miles is really far when you're driving 15 miles south and 15 miles north, and you've only got 20 minutes to do it. So, you know, Tariq will tell you he's got a very specific delivery area. You know, so that's why you never change your delivery rates, because you're going 15 miles south and you're going 15 miles north. You got to have full delivery on both of those to make your time worth your mile. But you're going to figure that out by being in business, and you're going to figure that out by deciding where your pain point is, what doesn't make sense for you. But you're going to have to make those mistakes first to be able to understand. I mean, Tariq does great. He closes in the winter. He says, screw this, I'm not going to deliver any bounces in the winter. I don't care about tables and chairs. He just goes on a cruise or whatever, runs Event Hawk. But that's an amazing decision to be able to make. I can't walk away in the winter because I got really big rent. I can't walk away in the winter. I got to do Santas. I got to do that hustle to keep things moving forward. But that was a decision I made, because I love it. I enjoy it. I love what I do, except for when I get the really cranky coffee pot lady. But, you know, because, you know, she didn't know how to brew coffee. I'm sorry. You asked for a coffee maker. I didn't know it needed instructions. Add water, click on. Anyway, so those people are a part of your business, but all I can throw in there is figure out where you want to go with it, and then shoot for that, and make your mistakes, learn from them, and decide if you want to take 3 months off a year or whatever, and make that your goal. Work on it.
I feel like I just attended a TED talk. Faustine, right? So motivational, like, boom, just awesome. Thank you so much, Stacy. This has been really, really good. And I love what you said. You know, set a goal, and you have to do certain things in the beginning. I could not agree more. I think the best thing you could do starting out is we have a status in Inflatable office called CTE, call, texted, email. Call, text, email every single lead, every single person that touches you. You will see more bookings than anybody else, even if you are more expensive. So I couldn't agree more with Stacy on that.
And he's 100% right. He is 100% right, because I do more calling and texting and emailing in Christmas season. I am more proactive with my outbound calls because I know I have to chase it harder. In the summer, I'm busier and I don't have to work as hard to get those things to come my way. If I worked hard, I might be scary, but he is 100% right. When you pick up the phone, your sales increase like crazy. Even if it's somebody who's already booked online, they just love that they got a voicemail saying, hey, we got your booking. Derek, I hope that was like 5 years ago.
No, it was about a year ago when we got started.
And what if you're looking back on that? What's your takeaway now? What would you do on that now?
On that now, that same ticket would probably be about $350, $380 for us.
Good.
Yeah, it's coming up on the and actually it came up on the anniversary of that customer.
And did they ask you to do it for 175? And did you tell them no?
Yeah, pretty much, yes.
There's another little nugget. If you are giving somebody a special price, always put full price and take a discount off. You can do, if you're an IO, you can do it at the bottom, you know, when all your like, you know, fees and stuff, show them the money you're giving them off And always, always put one-time offer, because if you don't put that on there, they're going to expect that offer every year. And sometimes you can do it and sometimes you can't. I am still locked onto a Halloween thing that they get 150 off 3 bounces, because the first year I did it, I gave them off 150 off 3 bounces, and it's for my city. So I kind of can't, whatever, it's 3 bounces. But one-time discounts are there for a reason.
Good nugget, good nugget.
You can type it right in, one-time discount. But people love to see what they're saving if you're actually giving them something to save. I'm more in the camp of less discounts, more value added. So if I need to sweeten the pot with something, I try and make it like, hey, I'll throw in a carnival game. I'll be honest, I don't do much of either, but I do really throw in the overnight rental thing from time to time. I'd say 50% of the time I give them free overnight coupon, which is $50, but most of our overnights are $75 or $100, because the bigger the unit is, the bigger my overnight fee is. But they love the $50, so they're fine. They don't complain. They're like, oh, well, I was like, look, your overnight rental is 100, but I'm going to throw you this coupon I got for $50 off an overnight rental. So you can use that coupon this time. Oh, that's great. I just made an extra $50. They only
Right.
gave them half their overnight fee off.
I love it. Well,
On a bounce I was going to leave anyway. Yeah, the backyard game, you know what? Cornhole and Connect 4. Connect 4 is probably by far my most popular backyard game. I hate the little discs. They drive me crazy.
oh my God, so many little pieces.
But it's definitely, everybody loves it. And Giant Jenga. Now it's far easier to transport. Giant Jenga is. It's in a little bag, and if they don't get all the pieces in there, you can tell when one's missing. My guys always lose donuts, and I'm like, I just have extra donuts around now, because I can't say my guys lose them. People lose them. And I can't, I can't figure out a good methodology of always, short of counting them every time, always keeping track of them. So I just go until the game doesn't have enough donuts to work. Oh, had 18 on this side and 17 on this side. That donut's gone. Now we both have 17.
I counted them every time. It sucked.
No, just, it's probably in the long run takes just as much time to do that as to the $18 you spend to get a replacement set on Amazon.
All right. Any other questions for Stacy as we wrap up here? I know I've learned a lot. If you learned a lot, give Stacy a big kudos. Let us know in the comments. What was your biggest takeaway here for Stacy? Did you love this? Should we do this again with Stacy? I think this is our second time having Stacy on here. Let me know. Let us know what you think, and we'll go from there.
And I'm happy to do a special one on certain subjects if people want more in depth on a subject. I'm fine with that. I know some people want more information about characters, and some people might want more information on tables and chairs and tents. I'm more than happy to give a specialized thing. Somebody earlier on asked about Christmas lighting, like way back at the beginning. Tariq, you probably want to drop in who to talk to about that, because that's not a ball game we got into.
Yeah, Christmas lighting. I know Nick Glassett has been doing a lot with that, so he's definitely the guy to go to. And he's been doing a ton of stuff with that. Amazing stuff. He's doing really, really well with that. If that's your thing, then definitely talk to Nick Glassett. He's awesome. And really, we wanted to bring on Stacy to really talk about some of the things that other people are not talking about that have made her very successful. So I hope that we delivered on that. And I definitely think you did. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that you really have a way of simplifying things, Stacy, really teaching in a way where it's really simple. And like, man, I thought this was the chair. I'm still thinking about the chair right now. I don't even want to do the chairs. But I'm like, man, $200 chair and rent it out, and it's a pickup. And I'm like, man, I'll do chairs all year long. So I love it.
Just line them up, and they come in different colors. So that's great too, because people are always looking for baby shower stuff, and like that boho off-white. That's a good one. you had, oh gosh, you said something that made me, go ahead. I lost my train of thought.
That's it. If there are no other questions, then we can let Stacy's been working for, like you said, 24 hours, so we'll let you get some rest doing all
Yeah,
that.
I slept from 2:30 to 5:30 last night. So the story behind that is next to us, a big club opened up and yesterday, and we've been working with them pretty consistently, but they're haphazard. They're brand new and they don't necessarily know 100% all their stuff yet. And they were a year delayed in opening up. And so they're basically like a conference / banquet center. I mentioned him earlier, said that they gave my name out for somebody who wanted to rent bounce houses in the Four Corners. So they came over to me and said, we need 48 centerpieces for tomorrow by 4:30. And you'll be the #1 person on our vendor list if you can help us out with that. And it's like, I was already on the vendor list, but I was like, being the #1 person on your vendor list when you are booked out to 2025 with multiple proms and multiple events, damn straight I'm gonna help you with those 48 centerpieces. So I was up late and I was up early and I got those centerpieces done and they look fabulous. So there you go.
Love the hustle.
Yeah, sometimes you got, and I did it all by my lonesome. Sometimes you got to do it.
There's Ali's picture. If anybody wants to continue the conversation here, I'll drop our link one more time. And if you message me directly on Facebook and get you in touch with Stacy. But if anybody wants to have a one-on-one conversation on any of this stuff, really marketing or just a strategy session for their business, if you're not already working for us, shameless plug here, you can scan this QR code or text us the word meet or comment go on this and we'll send you the link and we can set up a one-on-one strategy session to see what could help you this off season. Look at some Google data in your specific area. And with that, anything else you want to wrap up with, Stacy?
I think I have talked it to the top of the tree, I guess you'd say. I'm a little brain fried now, but I made a list of what I talked about tonight, so I will get links and resources over to you, Tariq. So maybe when you put up the replay, you can put like a little blurb about the resources that I mentioned. And
Yeah.
then again, if anybody wants to have a more in-depth about one thing or another, or just, ask me questions, feel free to reach out. Just tag me or whatever if you're going to ask a question so I can see it. I get lost on some of those.
Sounds good. We'll definitely get them in touch with you. Well, Stacy, you have been amazing. Such a pleasure as always.
Thanks.
Awesome. Someone said they want you on here once a month. So
It's Bounce Kingdom. He's just buttering me up.
right. I got you. Well, thank you so much.
Definitely not. You could come on once a week if you can.
Once a week. There you go. We're gonna have the weekly Stacy show. I agree there. Yeah, and fun fact, I call Stacy when I need a mentor. When I'm stuck, I'll never forget one time I called her. It was raining and I was trying to set up some tents and I had some issue and like, Stacy, what the heck do I do here? So it's always good to have a mentor. Stacy's been awesome for me. Anybody you could find in your area, or really anybody. Stacy's just really helpful with everybody. When you don't necessarily want to make a post on Facebook and get people giving you all kinds of crap, it's good to have somebody you could call. So Stacy, I owe Stacy a ton of gratitude for teaching me and mentoring me, and such an honor to have you on here. I do this for everybody else, so yes, you deserve it. We'll definitely be doing this again soon. Thank you, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your night. Stacy,
Nice to meet you guys.
Have a great night. Thanks, guys.
Good night.
Night.
Night.